And welcome back to Your Money, Your Life now with Sherrill Braswell with Statewide Insurers Group. Sherrill, always a pleasure to see you, my friend.
Good morning, sir. Good to see you again.
We got a little bit of a heat wave coming up this weekend, so hopefully get people prepared for that. As they say, we might be pushing 100 degrees by Sunday. So
I'm telling you,
it is going to be a hot one out there.
It will.
So Sherrill with his twice a month, right? Twice a month
correct.
segment, Your Money, Your Life. Sherrill, most people, I'm sure, are probably familiar as they've seen you, but for those that may be new or just tuning in for the first time or haven't seen your segments, introduce yourself and also just tell them a little bit briefly about Statewide Insurers Group as we open.
I'm one of the principals at Statewide Insurers Group here in Rocky Mount. We're over at the corner of Country Club and Hunter Hill. And our focus on the insurance side is working with people in Medicare-related situations.
Okay.
People want to get signed up for Medicare and staying in it through the years. I've been working on in the Medicare realm for 20 years.
Okay.
And got into it because of my parents, all their questions about.
That's right.
How do I do this? What am I supposed to do here?
Right. Figure you might as well turn it into a career, right? Do that anyway.
And
now, for those that are interested in this type of service, is there any type of initial startup fees, costs? Like, how do people take advantage of your services? Do they just walk in? What do you do when someone is kind of like, what do I do with my situation? How do you help them?
Yeah. Okay. We work with folks that are coming in, and it may be somebody who's turning 65, it may be somebody who has been working and they're 68 years old now, and now they want to go on Medicare. And here's the advantage, or the critical point for working with a local person like us. I promise you, if you call the 800 number that some celebrity is telling you about getting Medicare, that number does not go to his cell phone.
Right.
And
I wonder if people actually think it does sometimes.
Because if you have an issue and you try to get a hold of any of those folks, I promise you're going to have a great difficult time trying to get some help from them.
That is true.
So, it does not make any difference in the price you pay for your plan if you're dealing with us.
Right.
There's no savings to you, but the problem is you're exposing yourself to a lot of possibilities of making mistakes in what you're doing. And having that local flavor. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, how many times, like you say, you make reference to certain things, and it's kind of like, I don't want to talk to a machine. I don't want to talk to somebody I don't know. Having that ability to come in and rub shoulders with a local person that you can see and you can trust. And I've known you for quite a few years now from the business builders when we had North Green, and I know you're a very personable person and take care of your folks and are very passionate about what you do. I know that for sure, so I can definitely see the advantages. So how do people know specifically, like, when they should make the move? When do they sign up for the Medicare? Because a lot of times people come in, they don't really, they're looking for guidance, right? And that's where you come in. So what do you provide to people to help them know when is the right time to make certain moves? How do you do that? Good question, man. When you're getting into the realm of getting onto Medicare, you've kind of got three major choices, things that you have to look at during that period of time. And for most people, around the age of 65 is when they're going to sign up for Medicare. And what you've got to do at that time is look at your possibilities, your three major areas that you look at. One, you may decide, well, I'm just going to do what's called original Medicare,
which is Part A and Part B,
Right.
which covers basically 80% of your health care needs.
Okay.
Well, that 20% number does not have a cap on it.
Okay.
So you're exposing yourself to some risks there if you don't, plan for that. The second thing you've got to do in relation to that is to get a prescription drug plan.
Okay.
And, what we do there is we take your prescriptions. We have a program that, works in conjunction with Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. And then it tells us every single drug plan that you're eligible for.
Okay.
And what your copays are going to be, what your out-of-pocket costs are going to be, and also which drugstores will give you the best price for your prescription.
So in that case, it's fair to say, Sherrill, that once you lay this out for everyone, is your role more of I'm informing you and letting you make the choice, or do you feel like you inform them and kind of suggest to them based on your experience what they should choose? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. And here's how we look at it. If I'm just going to pull one out of the air here. If you took a Medicare supplement plan G,
okay,
all right. If you took that plan, all plan Gs are the same. I don't care if you buy it from Tim Buck Insurance Company or XYZ Insurance Company.
Okay.
The difference is cost, because every plan has a different premium on it.
Gotcha.
And the customer service, because I'm telling you, there is a huge difference in the spectrum of customer service from companies.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that us working in this all the time, we hear about who's not doing a good job, and we encounter it. When we're calling companies, because somebody comes in and they have a company I'm not familiar with, I'll start checking on it. It's just we know who gives us the best service, and if I don't get good service, I don't think Wayne's going to get good service.
That's exactly right.
Because I feel like I do know a little bit about this,
Yeah.
and I know what questions to ask to get to where I need to be.
That is true.
And if I have that problem, then I know you're going to have a problem.
Well, and that also, I think, Sherrill, spills into the rubbing shoulders with a face, a local person, of someone you can trust, because you're exactly right. There's many options out there for this on the and customer service matters. How you make someone feel. So I think for you in this realm, like you say, you enjoy bringing people in, getting them the most information possible, educating them. Like you say, some plans are the same regardless, but educating them on what is best for them, and giving them the power to make that right choice, and I think that's something that you take a lot of pride in, and everything when you see people like that.
And I can give you one recent example. If a person is disabled, and they're under age 65, well, once they have been on disability for 24 months, they're eligible to get help through Medicare. All right, I had a lady who called in recently, and she was 50 years old, and had been through the 2 years of being declared disabled, so now she was eligible to get help. She said, I've been looking at all these things online, and I think I want to do this. And I said, okay. I said, now, do you understand what you're going to have to pay out of your pocket on this plan, this particular plan? And she said, well, it says it has no deductible. And I said, that is true. It has no deductible, but it has copays. And it's semantics. And, in my opinion, it's semantics.
Absolutely.
I can tell you my plan has no deductible. Don't have to worry about that, But, most of these plans that she was looking at have anywhere in our area, anywhere from a $6,000 to an $8,000 out of pocket. Well, guess what? Suppose, you get a diagnosis in October, and between October and December, you run up that $7,000 out of pocket. Guess what? On January 1 at 12:01 a.m., it starts over. So literally in a 6-month period of time, you could you run up a $12,000, $15,000 out of pocket. And most of us aren't prepared for that. Most people are not prepared for that. So.
How because I like to delve into every aspect of this, because when people are watching, like I say, I want them to see how advantageous it is to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever have situations, and this what you just shared is probably similar, where someone does come in with that much information, like they're sold on wanting to do it a certain way?
Yep.
Like, how much do you kind of say, I really think you need to kind of get it this way? Like, do you how much do you sometimes have to push folks to change their mindset, I guess is the question? Or is it a much more of a comfortable thing to let up? Does the question make sense? It's kind of how much do you sometimes have to push people to change where they are in their head?
Had that happen recently.
Okay.
Had that happen recently. This guy came in, I've read all this stuff, ain't that
Right.
hard. I got it all figured out. And I'm thinking, well, so why are you here? You
Right,
know,
yeah,
you know.
you're going to have that attitude.
I'm going to do this. And I said, okay, same thing. I said, okay, tell me what you see, what are you going to have to pay for,
Okay.
all this type of thing.
Okay.
And that same situation, it didn't understand the difference between the deductibles and copays,
Right.
or the reality of it, because he'd been on an 800 number and been sold a bill of goods, and it all sounds great.
Right.
And that person on that phone, quite frankly, is looking to make a commission that day, and they're never going to hear from you again. They're in a call center in Zimbabwe, maybe.
Right. They don't even care.
And they don't care. So, sometimes, I mean, we don't ever get ugly with anybody, but I'm just like,
you do want to shake them sometimes.
I want you to understand.
Right.
Please understand what you're getting ready to sign up for,
Exactly.
and then let me give you a couple of alternatives,
Right.
and how they whack up. And we
Right.
will literally get on the board. They got two big boards on the wall.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay.
And draw it out. We will. Here's what you have. Here's your copays.
Yes.
Here's your deductibles. Here's your out-of-pocket maximums. And then here's another choice.
Right,
To give.
right.
Here's your copays, your deductibles, all your expenses.
Now,
And-
as you work with people, Sherrill, we've talked about people have different opinions, different attitudes, different mindsets.
Right.
What would you say you have encountered as the most common mistake that people make as they prepare? Because, like you say, they come in with certain ideas. What have you found is the most common mistake that people make?
Yeah, the one that always just boggles my mind that this happens, but it does. When let's say that you are going to go on Medicare at age 65.
Huh?
Okay. You at age 65, you don't have to go through underwriting process.
Okay.
If as I say, I'm going to turn 65 in April. All right.
Okay.
So January, February, March, April, May, June, and July. Those 7 months, during that 7-month window, I can sign up for any plan, and I can have an active cancer diagnosis, and that's okay. It's totally free, walk in the door, sign the line here.
Okay.
During that 7-month period of time. But I have people who come in literally, in the 7th month with 2 days to go. I think I'm supposed to be getting signed up for this stuff about now.
I think I am, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and some folks, said, well, I retired last year, but I was able to stay on my company plan,
Okay.
but that's going away.
Right.
And they've waited because that's the second most common situation.
So wait to the midnight hour. Huh?
Yeah, they wait till the midnight hour, but you have somebody who, they're 65, but they say, man, I like my job.
Yeah.
And I'm going to work for 2 or 3 more years, and I like my health insurance plan with the company.
Right.
Okay, if your company has 20 or more employees, you don't have to go on Medicare if you want to stay on their plan.
Okay.
And the only thing I caution people to do is this, let us sit down with you and literally draw it out.
Right.
Here's your plan, here's what you pay, here's your deductibles, here's your co-insurance.
Yeah.
And then if you go on Medicare, here's your total expenses on that. And about 90% of the time, Medicare is a better deal for folks.
Right.
But I've had that situation where they had a great plan and they didn't really need to make a change.
And you'll tell them that.
And
you'll absolutely tell them you're good where you're at.
Because when we draw it on the board, man, it's in black and white. You know, I mean, here's what you've got. Here's the information you provided me. Here's your alternative. You know?
Awesome.
And so that that definitely can help them make a good choice.
That's excellent
save
information.
some money.
As we wrap up, Sherrill, Sherrill Braswell from Statewide Insurers Group, anything that you want to emphasize in conclusion, and also please give people information, whether Facebooks, phone numbers, websites, how they can contact you.
Yeah, statewideinsurers.com. If you go to that website, you can get our a lot of information about several different topics, Medicare, your situation with life insurance, if you have a need to have that checked to get a second opinion on what you got. We do a bunch of that. I mean, I'll tell you this real quickly, Wayne. I found out if I find someone who's had an insurance policy for more than 5 years, 90% of the time we can put them in a better spot. Which is it blew my mind when I suddenly realized that that we do a lot of that.
Right.
But our phone number is 252-316-8166. And that eventually gets through to my cell phone as well as the other folks' cell phones. So somebody, if they don't pick it up in short order, somebody's going to call you back. All right. And we do our best to
give that number one more time, just in case people were grabbing a pen or something.
It's 252-316-8166. And our street address is 880 Country Club Road.
And those buildings are right across from Pizza Inn.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it. We're on the far right-hand end, closest to the intersection.
Absolutely. Well, Sherrill, always a pleasure.
Man,
Appreciate the information, and we encourage people to give you a call and go see you. Let Sherrill sit down with you and talk about where you're at, what you need to do. Like I say, I've found him over the years to be extremely knowledgeable, extremely passionate, caring about the people that he works with, and you would be in great hands if you give him a call. Sherrill Braswell at Statewide Insurers Group has been our guest on the Your Money, Your Life segment. When we return, we'll get another look at the weather. I have a little bit more casino talk for you, and you can call us at 407-1111. You're watching the live morning show brought to you by Don Bullock Chevrolet. We'll be right back.